Purposeful Nudge introduces System 1 and System 2 nudging, architecting behavior for field services to reduce cognitive load based on the framework in Field Services Rewired.
Every decision you make is the result of a silent handoff between two completely separate cognitive operating systems. Behavioral economist Daniel Kahneman categorized these as System 1 and System 2. System 1 is our fast, intuitive reflex. It operates automatically, without any conscious effort. System 2 is our slow, calculative, and deliberative thought process. It requires active focus to solve complex problems or weigh long-term consequences. In a perfect vacuum, humans value their agency and want this deliberative side to drive every major life choice. But the real world is not a vacuum. It is loud, complex, and demands constant attention. We navigate an endless barrage of administrative friction and bureaucratic hurdles. Behavioral scientists call this sludge. When System 2 spends its limited energy decoding confusing forms, the brain hits cognitive load failure. You get exhausted, and decision-making suffers. This presents a design problem. How do you guide someone toward a good decision under pressure without taking away their freedom to choose? To protect human agency, we have to stop treating the brain as a limitless resource and start designing environments that protect our cognitive bandwidth. To guide choices, behavioral scientists use nudges. A System 2 nudge is an intervention designed to empower you through smart disclosures and clear statistical data, rather than making the choice for you. Legal scholar Cass Sunstein conducted extensive surveys to measure how the public feels about these different types of interventions. He found that people overwhelmingly prefer System 2 nudges. They want the raw data so they can make up their own minds. This preference makes sense. A System 2 nudge respects human dignity. It treats the individual as an empowered, strategic partner capable of evaluating the facts. But there is a paradox here. If you place a person in an environment flooded with high-friction sludge, relying purely on System 2 education fails. People lack the energy to evaluate complex data when they are already overwhelmed. While educating the chooser honors their dignity, demanding they deliberate over every minor obstacle ultimately exhausts the very autonomy we are trying to protect. To solve for this exhaustion, choice architects use System 1 nudges. These are countermeasures to sludge, designed to make the optimal choice automatic. Economist Richard Thaler popularized this approach, demonstrating how subtle changes to the environment can predictably alter behavior. This visual highlights how System 1 nudges operate. Instead of forcing a user through a high-friction opt-in funnel, you set the default rule to an opt-out pipeline, making the desired action the path of least resistance. When systems lack automated defaults, humans spend their time and energy waiting in lines and navigating complex rules manually. But when you implement a default, like automatically enrolling employees into a retirement savings plan, they bypass that friction entirely. They get the benefit without spending the cognitive effort. The strict rule of this approach, known as libertarian paternalism, is that a true nudge never coerces. The user must always have the frictionless freedom to opt out. Real autonomy depends on the mental energy to evaluate a choice, not just the existence of the choice itself. We preserve freedom by shielding the brain from exhaustion, leaving us the bandwidth to focus on the decisions that actually matter. The highest form of choice architecture does not force a choice between System 1 and System 2. It deploys them sequentially. First, System 1 nudges handle the noise. They automate low-value tasks and eradicate administrative sludge. The cognitive bandwidth saved by System 1 is intentionally reallocated to power a human's System 2 capacity. Think of a field technician whose routing and diagnostics are automated. Because they aren't fighting tools, they focus entirely on strategic problem-solving and customer empathy. This is the core philosophy of modern behavioral design. System 2 educates the chooser, while System 1 protects the choice. By treating human bandwidth as a finite and precious resource, we move beyond simply nudging behavior toward engineering environments where genuine human autonomy.
For more insights, subscribe to Purposeful Nudge and start rewiring your field services organization today.